I see, guys. So you have to understand that when you have a problem, for example, what you need to do is you have to find a solution, obviously. So making sure that if you're writing more content, for example, or reading upon exactly what you want to deliver in terms of solutions, you have to realize that there's always a way for you to be able to find what you need when you're actually reading. So, for example, that's why reading is so important to actually solving your problems. So, if you read more, you're going to have more background. You're going to have more background information to be able to process exactly what you need out of life. So every single day, try to do the most you can in terms of content, so that you can really, really pronounce yourself in terms of everything that you're doing right now. You have to realize so that you can actually grow as a person. So every single day, that's what I do. I try to produce as much content as possible so that I become better in what I do. See, guys, this is the thing about life. So, the thing is that you have to express yourself every single day, making sure every single day that people understand you for who you are. So, exposing those words, you have to understand when you stick into the words every single day and you expose as many words as possible every single day. I promise you that enables you to be able to never procrastinate, and it helps you to really, really express yourself to the fullest. So, you have to understand that if you want to do better, you have to understand that you have to write as many books as possible. You have to produce as much content as possible, because this, in turn, this helps you to build confidence. It helps you to really be someone in the world. So you have to realize that it's not about being famous, but the thing is that you have to realize that popularity is a thing today that you have to understand that it brings money to your door, and it helps you to just become richer overall. So you have to realize if you want to do better, make sure you produce as much content as possible. I see, guys. So if you smoke cigarettes, you have to realize that it's going to bring you down in life. And you have to realize that if you want to do better in life, you have to quit all forms of drugs. So make sure you don't, make sure you don't drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or do methamphetamine or any kind of illegal drug out there, or even drinking caffeine can even make, it can even make you, for example, be less effective. So you have to understand that many people, I promise you, many people in life are drinking caffeine and doing drugs, okay? And you have to realize that if you quit caffeine and quit drugs, you'll have more energy. And that's what I experienced in my life in terms of life. So you have to realize that because I am somebody who I realize I'm doing better in my life in some regard, you have to realize that I realized that from before, when I used to be a person that was not drinking caffeine and not smoking, I used to have much more energy levels. So make sure you do that for yourself so you do better. You see, guys, the main thing is that if you start public speaking, for example, you're going to go a certain direction in professional skills. And you have to realize that the more you speak, okay, in terms of public speaking in front of people, you're going to be able to connect. You're going to be able to connect with people. So that's the whole point of being around people, for example, is to make sure that you're not lonely in life, to make sure that you're always doing something that's consistent around your professional development. So every single day, try to always recognize that you have power in you right now to make sure that you're doing something in your life that's going to benefit your life in the best way. So every single day you have to realize that those people who public speak in life are the ones that are really leading people. So you have to realize that every single day of your life, you have to always be looking to benefit someone else. So when you benefit other people, for example, either through public speaking or through content, you're going to be even more inspirational because of it. See, guys, why aren't you branding yourself? You have to understand that when you brand yourself, people are going to look at you in a different light, and you're going to stand out. You're going to understand that when people are branding themselves, you can see who is actually at the top of their game and who's not. For example, you can see exactly who people are by the way they brand themselves. So, what are some ways to brand yourself? You either create some photos of yourself, you go out there, you create something about life. Like, for example, you can create words, you can create music, you can create something in terms of words or music or images, for example, and you understand that people will look at you, for example, and if you and you understand, for example, that people will look at you and they'll be able to recognize you much better, and plus you'll be on the flip side much richer for it, because people will always give you credibility because you're just someone who's branding themselves. So make sure you understand that. You see, guys, if you want to have clarity in life, what you need to do is you need to speak more. You have to understand, you have to express yourself more. So what I do is I journal things down as much as I can. I have a writing journal in my vocabulary. And because I write so much, okay, either through audio or video or through quotes or anything that I can express myself with. For example, I can express myself with music as well. And what I do on a daily basis is I just try to express myself much more. And because I do, I gain the confidence to somehow teach. Just just to teach something in life is a great accomplishment. So you have to understand that the more you teach other people something, the more you understand yourself what exactly you're learning. Okay, so the whole point of learning in the process of teaching is to understand more. So you have to understand yourself by teaching, and by teaching people, you'll always have a richer life. I see, guys. So, why do you have to make yourself important? So, first of all, if you're not important, then you're not going to feel self esteem. You're not going to have much self esteem in you. So, when you feel important, you're going to have much more of a sense of belonging in life, and you're going to be able to do something that's much more orchestrated in life in terms of thinking skills and being able to plan your life and being able to function in terms of being able to function in a better way. So everyone needs to feel important to some degree. And I'm sure if you didn't have family or if you didn't have people in your life who made you feel important, then that feels like shit. I promise you, it feels totally shit to feel that you are undeserving of something or that you don't feel worth it in life. So, first of all, make yourself important, be an important person every single day, and then you'll find the importance of life. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. See, guys, you have to understand that the more you sing and be fluent in your life and speak from the feelings, the more you can actually do in terms of whatever you want to do. So you have to understand that you have to have faith in the words that you speak, and you have to always succumb to your feelings. So you have to understand that you have to live in your feelings. But when you also live with the words that you speak, for example, you have to understand that it's much more how it's going to take you to a new place. So your feelings are always telling you the truth of what you have to understand. But when you speak words, you always fly somewhere. You always go into a different direction for yourself, and you always understand exactly how you feel by the words you speak. So you have to understand that the more you really understand how you do things, the better you feel and the better you actually do. I see, guys. So when you describe something, you have to describe yourself. I see when you describe yourself, you always do better in terms of being able to express yourself every single day, making sure that other people are being helped by you in some kind of manner. So you have to realize that the more you express yourself in life, the more you can actually have a vocabulary. You can be able to be confident. For example, you'll be able to look better and feel better, because we all need to have an expression of mind. And when you have an expression of mind, for example, you understand that there's always a way for you to actually grow as a person. So you have to realize that the more I express myself personally, the more I can actually see life and the more I can actually build wisdom upon what I'm teaching and what I'm doing in life. So that's why I always express myself through video, audio, and imagery, because what's important is for me to personally brand myself every single day. And because I brand myself every single day, that's why I do what I do. I see, guys, so communicational skills is the way. So if you express yourself more through words and through imagery and also through audio programs and videos, through words as well, you realize that you can actually go and talk about whatever you want to talk about, for example. And the thing is that what you're going to be doing is you're going to be really expressing yourself in a way that you'll be building upon your knowledge. So when you're building upon your knowledge, you'll actually build confidence, because with communicational skills, what happens is you actually build more confidence and more confidence throughout time, and this confidence enables you to be happy. So you have to realize that if you want to be happy, you have to understand that you have to read more, and when you read more, you're going to build much more knowledge about the world around you. So when you actually build the world knowledge around you, you understand that you're the person that has to really succeed. You're actually someone that has to actually do better. So that's why communicational skills is important. I see, guys, so why is expressing yourself important? I see when you express yourself, okay, you have more knowledge, okay? And the thing is that when you realize, when you have more knowledge, you understand that you're building something in you like a tree, for example. And when you build this tree, you have apples at the end of it. So you have to realize that it's much more how when you are growing as a person, okay, everyone has to express themselves. And when you express yourself to the fullest, for example, you're going to feel the happiest. And that's what happens in my personal experience. So when I realized the more I express myself as a person, the more I can actually see something that I want to do, for example, or I can plan something in my life that's actually going to help me. So you realize that in life, when you express yourself in front of your family or through words of advice that you have for yourself, that you give to other people, you understand that you're helping the world in some way, and that's because you have a perspective. I see, guys. So those who don't try, okay, if they don't try to do something, then they're not going to be successful, okay? So you have to understand that Brian Tracy says that you have to try harder, try smart, try again. Do you understand? You have to keep trying. So if something's not working out in your life, you still have to have hope and try that someday you'll make it, that someday you will become all that you want to be. And for example, Jim Rohn says that if you express yourself the most in terms of videos and audio programs and also imagery, I realize he says, the more you express yourself in all these terms, you understand that you always have something to fall back on. You always have some kind of content that can inspire someone. So you have to realize that's why you have to be inspirational in your life. You have to understand that your life can help someone else's life, and that's the meaning of passion. See, guys, so what do I do in my spare time? I realize in my spare time, I like to read. I like to also go for a walk. I like to exercise. I make sure also I like to do music production as well. I like to build my confidence and courage. I like to also go and do some busking performances as well. I make sure always to make some audio programs or video programs or some new photos of myself. So if you check out my Instagram, for example, you'll see all photos of myself when I was younger in terms of life. And you have to realize that life is not just about becoming older, it's also about becoming younger. So you have to realize that you have to understand that I realize that when you like to exercise and when you like to really grow yourself, you have to understand that over time you're not getting older, you're getting younger throughout time. And that's the kind of mentality you need to have if you want to be happy. See, guys, so be about improvement. When you improve yourself in life, you're always going to find a detail about you that you need to improve. So when you improve that little detail or that little specific thing that you need to improve one step at a time, you realize that over time you're going to build confidence, because once you move forward, what happens is you grow. So the thing is that when you live your talk and when you live the person you are every single day in the full manner, making sure you're hiding nothing back, you're always going to expose yourself into the way that you need to be. So for example, because I expose myself as much as I can, I try to lead people through words and through images and through audio programs, video programs, through quotes as well, making sure that somehow I can make a difference in the world. Because when you make a difference in the world, as Vishen Lakhiani says, you make an impact. And that's the whole thing about life. And that's why you have to be passionate. I see. So what is my degree in life? I realize you have to understand that my degree is my experience. So for example, that's why I'm a life coach, and now I'm unqualified to be a life coach. But the thing is that I call myself a life coach because I have experiences that I can teach other people. And now you have to understand that you don't need to be qualified to be a life coach. You don't need to be qualified for a certificate to work a job or anything like that. You just have to make sure that you're branding yourself as much as possible, and understanding that, for example, if you want to get qualifications to get a job, then do so. But the thing is, you have to realize that you have a specific thing that you have to do every single day, and you have to stay consistent about that. But you have to understand that the more consistent you are on a daily basis, making sure that you're producing something of content, I promise you that way you can help yourself to understand much more around what you need to do. So for example, because I help people as much as I can, I realize I get good karma in return, and that's why I'm always doing what I do. Why improvement? I realize if you improve, I realize that's when you can help yourself to do something greater. So if you do anything to help other people, for example, you're going to be selfless and you're going to be able to grow yourself, because producing content is the best thing in life, and you have to realize that everyone's producing something in life, I promise you. So when you're producing much more content in terms of imagery or in terms of images or videos or anything in terms of words, for example, or music even, I promise you what happens is you start to grow as a person. So every single day, try to understand that you have to grow yourself. And you have to, I promise you have to understand it's your duty to grow as a person. So every single day, take your time when you're speaking. Make sure that you have pauses in between your speech. So make sure you understand that you have to start really developing yourself every single day, because that's what personal growth is about. So make sure that you read all the self-education books out there so you do better. See, this is the thing about life, guys. You have to be motivational. So when you're motivational in life, you're always going to be able to inspire yourself to grow. So that's the whole reason to live life every single day, is to be inspirational, isn't it? I think that if you are someone inspirational in your life right now, which you are, and you just have to see that for yourself, but you have to realize that you need to be an inspiration much more every single day. And you need to realize that the more you motivate other people in some kind of direction toward your passion and toward who you are as a person, you have to realize that you're a spiritual being living in a human body. So you have to embody yourself in a way that you have to represent who you are. And the best way to do that is to be a motivational speaker every single day of your life. So the more you actually speak, for example, doing the most you can every single day to be generous with words or music or anything else, that is the best thing in life. So make sure every single day that you're doing more. You see, guys, I'm not perfect in any kind of way, and I realize that, for example, but you have to realize that because I show my imperfection around life, and because I always try to help myself in some kind of manner, I understand that it's going to be right now or never. So for me, it's much more about understanding what to say and when to say it and why I need to say it. But the thing is that the more you really express yourself on video camera or audio camera or whatever it is that you do for your life, you have to realize that one day someone's going to be much more for it, because you're the one producing that kind of content and because you're always trying to develop yourself as a person. So you have to always realize that there's always someone out there watching you, and you have to always do better regardless of what you're doing right now. So you have to understand that in life you have to work. So make sure that you work smart. Never work hard, but make sure you're working smart to do better. You see, guys, it's not about, for example, having followers in life. That you have to realize that when you have followers, it's a good thing, but it's not about being famous. So when you realize that you have to really be at your best version, and when you're at your best version, you're going to realize some things about yourself that other people don't realize. They're going to see you in a new light, and when you're in a new light for yourself over here, you're going to realize that there's always a better way forward. So what you need to do is you need to be always fluent in your communication. So the more you're fluent in your communication and the better you speak as an individual, I promise you people are going to realize this, and people are going to be able to really thank your ability in terms of life, because they can see something in you, because you're inspiring them in some kind of way. So you have to realize that when you're doing audio programs or video programs or anything like that every single day, you're going to understand that you're going to find the way for yourself, and that's what you need to do. You see, guys, so what do you do with guys or women that hate you, for example? So you have to understand that the best way to really process that information in terms of being able to really live life, you have to realize it's much more how you be silent with those people. So when you're silent with those people, I realize they're always going to have much more to respect you about, because you give them silence. So you have to understand that when you give people silence, it's much more of a respective kind of manner every single day, that you realize that it's all about making sure that you have peace and quiet in your life. So you don't need to be around people who hate you, because when you're around people who hate you, they're always going to make you feel unloved. So make sure every single day that you're always doing the best you can by being away from people who no longer serve you in any kind of manner, and don't go where they go. So make sure that you're always away from people who hate you so that you do better. You see, guys, especially right now, you have to stop worrying about yourself, okay? So when you stop worrying about yourself, you're going to be much more better in terms of health. You're going to have much more progress in your life. So you have to realize that the reason I don't worry about my life is because I have enough going for me in my life. And that's why I help myself on a daily basis to do whatever I need to do to make sure I get from one place to another. So the way I do that is through content production. And the more I produce content, the better I am in terms of everything that I want to do, because I understand that helping people and being able to have a fluent life in terms of communicational skills and being able to move forward with my integrity every single day, making sure that I'm doing better for myself personally, that's what helps me to be much more in a state of happiness. So that's why I want to help myself to do better, and that's why you have to be happy also to understand more. So you guys, so do you ever feel like a loser, for example? I understand that it's happened to me before. I felt like a loser because of things in my life that didn't work out. For example, I was not, let's say, living to my fullest, okay? And you have to realize that today, as it stands, I'm living much better in terms of my life now, but you have to understand that people have to always reach their expectations, okay? And when people don't reach their expectation of where they want to be in life, that's when they feel like a failure. So if they're not producing, for example, themselves in a way that they can expect something further of progress in terms of growth, I realize if people are not, let's say, expecting of themselves to do better, then obviously they're going to feel like a failure. So that's why you have to understand you have to grow. So you guys, if you want to quit drugs, or if you want to quit anything that's not good for you, for example, or if you just want to get smarter, so you have to realize that the best place to be in life is to be at home with yourself, for example. So when you're at home, it's the best feeling, okay? But the thing is that the second best way of life to understand where you need to live is the library. So for example, the first place that you have to be is at home and then at the library. So for example, if you understand that the best place to be in life is home and the second best place to live is the library. So go to the library, okay, if you want to quit drugs and if you want to get smarter so that you can help yourself to improve. So for example, what I do on a daily basis from now on is I go to the library and I make sure every single day I wake up in the morning and I get myself to the library and I just start reading out aloud to myself to do better. You see, guys, this is the thing. You have to work smart in life. So the more you work smart in life, the more you can, in terms of life, the more you can less procrastinate. So what's procrastination? So procrastination is when you want to do something, but you don't do it. You understand? So you're lagging. You're jet lagging, for example. So you have to realize that, for example, in your life, you have to stay away from drugs so that you do better as a person. But the thing is that once you quit drugs altogether, what happens is you just become an overall better person. And why is that? Because you're no longer hating yourself, because people who take drugs hate themselves to some extent. They hate the way they look. They hate the way they feel. And you don't want to be someone who's relying on outside scenarios or outside circumstances to live life. So what I mean is, you don't want to rely on drugs and on other people to live life, okay? What you need to realize is you have to have total control over yourself in life. So that means taking control of your life. So when you take control of your life, what happens is you start to develop. You start to help yourself in a great direction. And the thing is that you have to really prosper every single day. So for example, the reason I'm successful to some extent is because I speak a lot of words. And now my music is not the best it can be in terms of life. I realize I have lots of mistakes in my music, and I have lots of mistakes in terms of what I've said in the past and what I've done now in terms of life. So you have to realize I'm making mistakes, but I'm learning from my mistakes. And that's the main thing of a leader. You understand? So if you want to never procrastinate in life, you have to realize that you have to really, really develop yourself in the best kind of manner every single day. So you have to realize that you have to do something today to make sure that no matter what happens, that in life, you're going to be someone much more straightforward with what you say is what you do. So you have to understand that you have to live your talk. But you have to understand that once you live your talk, you're going to be happier. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to have more courage. And now, I was recently reading a book, and it said in the book that if you like to help other people and you help other people, for example, what happens is you're building courage, and you're building much more courage through words, for example. So you have to understand that the more you help other people, for example, in terms of words or in terms of music or whatever you are passionate about, you have to start from your passions. And then when you start from your passions, you start to begin to help other people in terms of your business, because your business is solely upon what you say. Okay? So you have to understand that if you want to get somewhere in life, you have to do content, and you have to produce as much content as possible so they understand that your business is moving forward slowly. Okay? And because your business is moving forward slowly in the health region and in the mental region and in the emotional region and also spiritual region, you have to understand also physically, you have to be healthy. You have to understand your spiritual aspect has to increase. Your emotional ability has to be stable. Okay. And you have to understand that you have to be growing your emotions. You have to grow the person you are. So you have to grow away from the drugs. And you have to grow yourself regardless of the unpleasant feelings that you have. So you have to understand that if you don't allow yourself to do drugs, then that's the best thing for you. But make sure you understand that if you're someone who's doing some kind of drugs, like maybe heroin or methamphetamine, or if you're doing cigarettes, for example, or caffeine, for example, or alcohol, for example, you understand that you're going to get withdrawals. Okay. And the withdrawals is going to be physical and it's going to be mental. But it's not going to last forever, and you're not going to die. Okay. You have to realize that many people don't like to be in uncomfortable feelings. You understand? And they really, really get so miserable because they need a drug to just fulfill their life for the moment. And drugs are apparently the drugs are the short-term solution to everything. Okay? But the long-term solution is being sober. So the more you're sober in life, the better you're going to be in terms of all areas of life. You're going to be more effective in your communication. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. You're going to have a better image. You're going to be confident. You're going to be much more courageous. You're going to take more risks. All right. And you're going to have more finances, for example. So having health is wealth, in a sense. So the best type of way to live life is to be healthy. So if you're someone who wants to be healthy today, then you have to make a decision for yourself, and you have to really, really want to really be healthy. Okay. And you have to really not hope for it. You have to do something today to be healthy. You have to make sure that you get in the gym, for example. So I'm starting gym very soon. And the reason I'm starting gym is because I want to prove myself. I want to prove to myself that I can do it. You understand, that I can be one of those people who can be a fitness guru, for example, and who can teach something about fitness and something about, for example, living a great life healthy, for example. So you have to realize I'm a bit overweight right now and I'm not looking at my best. Okay, but in my spiritual dome, I'm looking the best ever in terms of my spirituality. But my physical health is really, really plummeting. And why is that? Because I've been smoking cigarettes, I've been drinking caffeine. And you have to understand how bad I am in that. You have to realize how gross it is. And why is it so gross? Because it's got to that point where I smoke like a fucking chimney. Okay, I smoke so bad. Like fucking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. You understand? I mean, it's just fucking like, well, I promise you, if you stay away from cigarettes, for example, and you have one cigarette, for example, I promise you it's going to do nothing to you. I promise you, one cigarette won't do anything much to you, okay? But it can cause cancer, okay? So just realize this, that one cigarette doesn't affect you as much, okay? But when you have 8 cigarettes fucking in a row and you're smoking for 40 minutes, man, I mean, in a row, you like, let's say we time ourselves now from this point, from this zone right now that I'm speaking with you right now, to 40 minutes later, smoking for fucking 40 minutes straight. I mean, that's how fucking bad I've been smoking. Fucking 40 minutes straight. just fucking smoking one after the other. You understand? So the thing is that what happens is I start to feel fucking that my heart is gonna have a heart attack for fucking sake. You understand? But my heart attack, I realize I have no heart attack, thank God. But the thing is that mixed in with the caffeine, you have to understand that I drink caffeine, not anymore. But the thing is that I drink coffee, and what happens is I'm smoking, and I drink coffee, smoke, drink coffee, smoke, drink coffee, smoke. And I repeat this cycle for 40 minutes. And then by the time I finish my cup of coffee and everything, 20 minutes has passed and I get myself more coffee. And then I smoke more, drink more coffee, smoke more, drink more coffee. And guess what happens? I get another coffee. And then fucking guess what? I get heart palpitations. I start to feel like my heart's gonna explode, man. And I'm fucking smoking so much as well. And it just doesn't feel good at all. I mean, do you understand? It doesn't feel good. And it's worse for me. I can actually tell how much worse it is to smoke cigarettes often and straightforward every fucking 5 minutes smoking a cigarette, for example, and how bad that is compared to the feelings of withdrawal. So, for example, I understand that my feelings of withdrawal at least is a safety net. It's something that I can rely on, for example. So after, let's say about an hour after I smoked my last cigarette, what happens is I start to get into the withdrawal phase. And what happens is that's when my brain tells me, hey, I don't feel good. After about an hour, I don't feel good anymore. I feel paralyzed. I mean, it's got to that stage, do you understand? So the more I go without a cigarette, the more I cannot function. So it's got to that point for me. You understand? It's like I can't function without a cigarette. It's like I have to lay down all day. Because if I go for a walk, I might have a heart attack, for example. You understand? I mean, that's how bad my fitness is. That I can't even go for a fucking walk when I quit smoking. Do you understand? So that's why, guys, stay away from cigarettes. Stay away from drugs. You understand? I'm telling you right now. So you have to realize that there was an opportunity for me, and there was a nice opportunity for me before, where I was off the drugs for 3 years. I was off the legal drugs, I was off the illegal drugs, I was off the caffeine, I was off the cigarettes, and I was traveling Australia, brother. I was traveling Australia, brother and sister, and I had the fucking best time. Do you know how much I was looking myself in the mirror, loving myself, being compassionate to myself, feeding myself the best food? I was able to be a vegan. You understand? I was able to be a vegan. And now you have to realize that because I was smoking cigarettes and drinking caffeine and neglecting my body, I wasn't able to become a vegan anymore. You understand? Because as long as I smoke cigarettes and drink caffeine, it's very difficult for me to be a vegan. I just don't have that frequency level. So what did I do at first to become a vegan? Well, first I quit caffeine, and also I quit caffeine and cigarettes at first. And then I became a vegan. But I cannot live as a vegan by smoking cigarettes and drinking caffeine. I cannot. It's very difficult for me. You understand? And why is it very difficult? Because it's just that neglection that I've been doing to myself. I've been neglecting myself fucking bad. I've gained weight. I'm on medication for schizophrenia, for example. And you have to realize that things are working out for me right now in terms of other aspects of life. So what's working out for me is I've done some more fashion photos for myself, for example, on Instagram. And I'm showing my flaws. And do you know how much strength I have to show in terms of being able to show my flabs, being able to show my fatness, and being able to show a totally different person to the person I used to be. I'm totally different to the person I used to be in terms of looks. I'm not even the see. So anyway, guys, so that's why you have to improve. You have to realize every single day that no matter what happens, you have to grow. So you grow as a person every single day. You make sure that others are provided for in a way that you give them information, you give them money, you give what you can afford. Okay, you make sure that you look affordable. Okay, and make sure that you understand that you don't look expensive. Okay, the reason you don't look expensive, okay, is because when you go expensive, you go broke. So when you go affordable and you look affordable, you get yourself affordable clothing, and you can always look good with affordable clothing, okay? You have to realize that you don't have to buy expensive clothing and expensive cars and expensive luxuries and expensive accessories to make yourself look good, okay? You have to realize that you can do with much less, okay? And you have to understand that when you have less in life, you have more, okay? So you have to understand that it's not about having less and it's not about having more. I promise you, it's about having enough. So if you really understand to be consistent with your communication and read daily, okay, you have to realize that today I read over there at the library, and I really enjoyed the library because I was so invested in my book, for example, that I was reading. So what I want to do in the morning is I want to go by car to go to my psychiatrist first, and then I will see to catch either the bus and go back to Liverpool and stuff like that and go to the library, for example. So you have to understand that it's much more how, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but it's much more how I want to go to the library again sometime very soon. So I can just do the same thing again, where I can just read different things again and just make sure that I can go and grow myself and my mindset. But you have to realize that now my TikTok is growing, and so is my Snapchat, for example, and so is my Instagram. And now you have to realize that the thing about my Instagram is I have a lot of fashion photos of myself, and I'm posting a lot of content on my Instagram stories. I'm posting content into Snapchat, for example, and I'm posting content into TikTok. But on the side, what I'm doing is I'm doing even more content on the side, where I don't have to post as much content on Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram, but instead I post to YouTube, okay? Because YouTube is my other business. So for example, you have to realize that all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to expand my social media as much as possible, because it's working currently. And what's working is the words that I'm speaking, okay? And why is that? Because I make common sense. And now when you make common sense while you speak, you have to realize that reading helps. And when you read a lot, you're going to be able to form words, you're going to be able to form opinions, you're going to be able to form advice, and you're going to be able to form your communicational skills. So you have to understand that you have to really abbreviate for yourself every single day as much as possible to get smart, okay? So you have to realize that, for example, my mum just called me recently, and because she called me, what I did was I got my other phone. I have three phones. I have one that I'm not using currently, but I have another one that I use for Netflix and for writing materials and stuff like that. But I use it for other things as well, in terms of downloading Google Play applications. If my phone that I'm speaking to you on right now doesn't have that ability, for example, so what I do is I transition with phones to download applications, and also to do certain tasks for myself. So if I run out of battery with one phone, I have the other phone as my portable charger battery, for example, or my other phone has more battery in it, for example, because when you get two phones, you have battery on both phones, right? So you have to realize that it serves you as extra battery, for example. So you have to realize that since I have three phones, I uploaded all my content in terms of all my audio programs up online to my YouTube channel. So that's all going great. And now all I have to do is just upload all my quotes now. But what I'm doing now also is I'm currently just producing as much content that is new, and something that's new content that I've never produced before. So what I'm doing now is I'm not downloading quotes anymore from my Mega Drive to post it into my Instagram anymore, because what I'm doing is I'm currently making new quotes. And the way I make new quotes is I start to read more. And because I dwell into books much more, I find things to talk about. For example, I find things to talk about that make sense for me. So anything that makes sense for me personally is what I write in a quote. And then I sell it online for $1, for example. And you have to understand that my quote books are really affordable, and you have to realize they're not cheap and they're not expensive, okay? But the thing is, it's affordable for everyone. Everyone can afford my books. And that's what I want to make it much more like that for myself, because I understand that people need that kind of wisdom in life. So you have to realize that when you give wisdom out, I promise you, you're making a better impact in the world, and you're also making sure that you're going to do better in terms of all regards. So you have to realize every single day, try to do the best job you can every single day, so that you understand how to grow yourself and so that you're really producing as much content as possible. But I found also that today when I read aloud for myself, what I did was I used a pen. Okay, I used a pen, and after each word, on each word, I was tapping the pen, okay, and I was reading aloud that word. So for example, if I see allowance, I tap the pen on allowance, and then I say allowance, and then to go for this and stuff. And you have to realize that I use the pen as I read out aloud, okay? And I follow the words with my pen as I read out aloud, okay? And that's what I do, and I found that I read much more effectively this way. So that's something that you can do also on your phones as well. You can use a pen to use through ebook, for example. So if you're reading ebooks, you can use a pen to scroll over the words with a pen, so that you can read the words in silence, or you can read it out aloud for yourself. So you can follow the sentence, for example. So make sure you use a pen as your guiding compass. And what you can also do is you can hold a pen in your hand while you're talking, for example, okay? So you have to realize that you have to start also public speaking at some time in your career, because what's going to happen when you develop your public speaking skills, you're going to be able to do much more effective business. So you have to understand that you have to be the best in your field in what you do. Okay, and what am I the best at? I'm the best at life coaching. I promise you, I give the best life coaching material in the planet. And you have to understand that my music is nowhere near my life coaching. Okay, and you have to, I promise you, it's actually equal in terms of some aspects. But you have to understand that because I do music production and because I do life coaching and I do fashion photos and stuff like that, but I don't consider myself a fashion expert. Okay, I'm not a fashion expert. Okay, but the thing is that I'm someone that's learning how to do fashion. Okay, and that's it. I'm just a student of everything. I'm a student of life coaching. I'm a student of music production. I'm a student of fashion photos. Okay, I'm a student for veganism. I understand that if you want to do better for yourself every single day, you have to understand to go sleep early, wake up early. You understand? Because the thing is that if you drink caffeine, I promise you, you're not going to be able to sleep early and you won't be able to wake up early. Okay, so be careful about caffeine, because caffeine can really take a toll on your life. So what you need to do is get serious about your career and get serious about your business. Okay, you have to get really serious and stop neglecting yourself. Start doing the right thing. Okay, start doing the best thing for yourself. Not the right thing, but not the wrong thing, but the best thing. Okay, never do the right thing, never do the wrong thing. Do the best thing that's for you. Okay, because everyone has different styles of communication, and everyone has a different perceived matter of intelligence in life that they can use to their advantage as talent to make sure that people can grow and that they can also move their business forward. So the reason I make so much content, once again, is to help people. And the more I help people, the more courage I have in terms of my life. So you have to understand that I have to help as much people as possible, and also I have to structure my sentences in a way that everyone's growing. Because when I grow as a human being every single day, I promise you I do the most I can every single day in terms of words and in terms of silence and everything in terms of music and also in terms of imagery. Okay, because you can inspire people through images as well. So make sure you understand that when you look at my Instagram, make sure you emulate my Instagram and emulate how I do my YouTube channel, okay? So for example, you have to understand that you have to get smarter in life. You have to do the best job you can. You have to realize every single day that it's going to be a different day for you. So you have to understand that you have to push your growth. You have to push who you are, and you have to be kind and generous, and you have to understand that kindness is the best act in life. So you have to understand any way that you can help people in life, that's what you do. I promise you, your passion is to help people, okay? That's your passion. So make sure that you understand that some people are helping other people more than other people. And because other people are helping more other people, those people who are helping other people are succeeding. Okay. And why are they succeeding? Because they're on the offense. As Gary Vaynerchuk, as Gary Vaynerchuk says, that people who are on the offense about content are the ones who are the innovators and the ones who are the leaders. Okay, so you have to realize that you need to produce as much content as possible every single day so that you understand that you have to do straightforward things with yourself that's going to help you to develop as a person. Okay, but talking words is not enough. Okay, you have to realize that you can talk as many words as possible. Okay, but if you're not applying what you talk about and if you're not living your talk, then you are not in integrity. Okay, you have to understand that people who live their talk are doing better than the ones that are not living their talk. Okay, so you have to understand that when you say quit smoking, make sure that you also quit smoking. So if you tell other people, for example, to quit smoking cigarettes because it's bad for them, but then people see you smoking cigarettes, then why should they believe you? You know, so you have to understand that you have to stand for something in life. So you have to speak up sometimes. But you have to also understand that silence is a major role in life. And when you have silence with people, I promise you, people forgive you much more easily. And why is that? Because you don't interrupt them. Okay, so people don't like to be interrupted. Okay, and why is that? Because imagine me interrupting you after everything you want to say. And before you even say, I'm interrupting you. I mean, in a sense, so if I give you silence and you just talk to me nicely and you're talking to me and I'm giving you silence and I'm not talking back to you, but I'm listening to you, then you're going to respect me much more, aren't you? So you have to understand that silence plays a key role in communication. Okay, so you have to understand that in a conversation, be much more silent, okay, and be much more of a listener, because you have to understand that many people don't like smart asses. Okay, many people don't want to be taught anything by you. You understand? So what you realize is when you teach something, teach it on the internet. Okay, when you teach things online, it's much better for you. So if you want to teach people, for example, go Toastmasters, do a public speaking speech in front of people and teach them, because that's what that kind of leadership role is, and that's what that kind of community is all about. Okay, but if you understand, if you go busking performances as well, so if you're talking busking performances and you go busking performances and you do a public speaking speech on the street, I promise you that's totally your freedom of speech and you can do whatever you want to do there. Okay, but the thing is, make sure that you behave in the most appropriate way. Okay, make sure you're not swearing at people, because if you swear at people, guess what? Someone may hit you in the face with a fist, or they may shoot you. You never know. So make sure you understand that it's also dangerous to do busking. Okay, depending on where you do it. Okay, if someone's asking you to leave, make sure you leave, because that means that there's something better for you. Okay, so you have to realize that in the space of time where I was doing busking performances, you have to realize that what I've learned is make sure you be in one place at one time only. So you have to understand that if you're in one place where you do busking, make sure you do it one time there only. And then go to another place and do it there. And then go to another place and do it there. And make sure you understand that you have to be traveling, okay? And the more you travel, the better you are, okay? So you have to realize that for myself now, I have to go to certain places around town with the car to find new fashion photos for myself and new backgrounds that I can put inside of my fashion photos. And now I have the whole fucking city to do this. And you have to realize that there's so fucking many places that I can go around Sydney, but I have to find those places. And now what I have to do is I have to go maybe Cronulla, I have to maybe go Bankstown. I mean, it just depends where I have to go. But maybe I start with Fairfield. I mean, you don't even know these areas that I'm talking about. You have to realize that I have to start in certain areas. For example, I just have to go browse around. I just walk around for a bit, exercise. I mean, you understand? So just walk around. Maybe I find something, and you have to realize maybe search on the internet for graffiti in certain places and stuff like that. And that's how I do my fashion photos, for example. I make sure that if you look at my Instagram, you'll find out why and how I do my Instagram photos of myself. Because why am I doing it? I'm branding myself as a person. I'm trying to brand myself in the best kind of way, and I'm trying to also lose weight at the same time, and I'm also trying to quit smoking and caffeine at the same time while trying to get in the gym. okay, and while trying also to work a part-time job, okay, serving alcohol behind a bar. And also you have to realize that because I'm doing this, I'm also straightforward with my answers and I'm straightforward with what I'm saying, okay? So you have to understand that if you are honest with people, I promise you that's the best return in investment, okay? So make sure you understand every single day, be the most honest you can, be the most compassionate you can every single day. Try to really help people every single day in every single regard, and try to do the most you can in terms of content, because that's what's going to help you in the end, okay? So you have to realize that no matter what happens in life, make sure you're doing the best job for yourself and loving life, okay? Because loving life is I promise you, loving life is the ultimate way. Okay, so make sure you understand that when you're doing your speeches in front of people, make sure you slow down your communications in terms of your communication a bit, and make sure you have more pauses in your communication, because people want people who are speaking in terms of public speaking to be able to slow down for them, because they're not so fast of a comprehender and they're not fast at understanding what you say. You understand? So you have to realize that they have slow minds, okay? So you have to realize that the thing is that when you talk so much, you have to realize I talk as fast as I can right now in this audio program. And why is that? Because I understand that you can rewind in this audio program, okay? But when you're talking in front of people, make sure that you're doing it slowly in a way that they can understand you in a slow manner, okay? And that's going to be even easier for you because your thoughts are going to be really coming at you really fast, but you're going to be talking really slow. And then you can go any direction you want. But when you speak very fast, then guess what? I promise you, then you're leading yourself to actually have even more thoughts really fast that you can talk about, okay? And you have to realize that fast communication is key to everything. I mean, the faster you communicate through life, the faster you'll succeed. I promise you. So I promise you, that's the ultimate way. So you have to realize every single day, make sure you do the most quotes you can, do the most content you can, do everything in your power to make sure that you stay healthy, okay? And be serious about it. Make sure, I promise you, make sure you don't go backwards. Please, please, please don't go backwards on your word, and don't go backwards on something that you've said that you want to do, okay? And stop procrastinating, okay? Never go backwards. Make sure you're going forwards, okay? So you have to realize that's the best option that you can do right now for yourself. And if you understand anything about this program, for example, you understand that it's self-education, okay? It's something that helps people to grow in some kind of manner, and that's the whole point of life, isn't it? I promise you, the whole point of life is making sure that we can give people self-education material every single day, that we can help people as much as we can online, so that people can be straightforward with how they live life in a better way. Okay, so if you're learning anything from this program, I hope that you share it around. I hope that you go out there and do what I said in this video, but also do what I do, okay? Make sure you understand that I'm not trying to boss you around. I'm trying to tell you what's best for you, okay? And if you want to take it, it's up to you. And if you don't, make sure that you understand that you have to help yourself in some kind of manner. So make sure, if you understand that if you disagree with something that I said, make sure that you can come to a term of agreement about some other perspective in mind, where you can actually have a nice and beautiful, let's say, compulsion to succeed, okay? So where you can actually be contemplating that maybe that what I said is best for you, and if it's not best for you, make sure that you understand that in your heart you must improve, okay? So you have to realize I'm not against you. I'm not trying to boss you around. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I promise you, live your life the way you want to live it, okay? I'm just giving advice, okay? And you came to my channel, okay? So I'm not forcing you to come to my channel. I'm not forcing you to share my content, okay? I'm not forcing you to do anything, okay? It's up to you what you want to do with my content, okay? So you have to realize that I'm saying it how it is, and you have to realize that if you like the content, make sure that you do something about it, okay? And that's what I'm saying. So make sure every single day of your life that you're just doing better and understand much more about yourself, okay? So understand every single day how you can grow as a person and how you can actually develop other people.